Hello, my name is Dieter and welcome to Win Some, Loosemore. You join me for Why I Like, a series of videos where I take you through some of the games that we own and tell you why I like them. And today I will be showing you why I like Ticket to Ride New York. Ticket to Ride is a very popular game. There's both an American edition and a Europe edition, which is a very large kind of game and works as an excellent gateway game. It's just very simple set collection, but it's never really appealed to us in terms of it's very large, and so as a two-player predominantly it's a bit empty. There's no interaction. It's fine, the game works just as well. It's a good fun game. I recommend you check it out. But last year the company Days of Wonder brought out New York, which is a much smaller version. The board is like a third of the size. It's still for 2 to 4 players, but it's like a 15-minute version. It takes 10-15 minutes. Why don't I show you how it works and I'll explain why I like it. So here you can see everything you need to play the game. I've set it up for 2 people. We've got the purple player down here and the green player up here. Now there are 2 decks of cards. One is the transportation deck, which has the different colour buses, and then the taxis, which count as any colour. And just as part of the setup before the game, you deal 2 of these to each player. Let's just play purple open, that would be me, and then you deal 5 down the side here. There we go. And then the other deck of cards is the routes. So this would be where you're trying to link to. So this one, there we go, focus, Chelsea to Brooklyn, if they complete that route, which is here. So they'd need a route all the way down to the corner to Brooklyn. If they complete that, that would be worth 8 points to them, and that kind of thing. There's some that are only 2 points if they're only a couple of connections away, and some up to, as you saw, 8 points for the longest one. So we would shuffle that. And again, deal 2 to each player. Now the players get to look at these and decide how many of them they would want to keep. So let's have a look here. And the 2 that my one got, the UN down to Wall Street. UN's up here, Wall Street's all the way down, so it's a tricky one with Central Park to, I'm going to probably say this wrong, Gramercy Park. So that's a nice simple one. Just a couple of connections here or here. I started with something that counts as anything or a red, so that would build this straight away. So yeah, I'll definitely keep the 4. Do I want to keep this one as well? I'm going to discard this one because I think it's going to be too hard given that this is the other one I'm going for. Or do I keep it the other way around? I can't make my mind up. Now let's keep them both and see how we go. So I'm playing this hand open so you can see what I'm doing. Now, a turn is very simple. Either you take 2 cards or you place your pieces. And you can either take from the visible ones, in which case any of these you can take 2 of, but if you choose to take the taxi, that counts as both of your draws, or you can take blind from the deck. And so I can't complete anything yet, so I'm going to take 1 from here. That's a red and a green. That may or may not help me. This player will do the same. They're just going to take the taxi, which counts as all their draws, and we replace. And so we keep going like that. And so I need to get from Wall Street. So I have 2 red cards. Is that going to help me? Yeah, why not? I have 2 red cards. What I can do for my turn is discard these, pay them back to the game, and then place 2 of my cards on a red route. Now, if they're grey, it doesn't matter what colour they are as long as you paid the same. So I can now go Wall Street. I have made 1 route from this dot to this dot, and that would be my turn. This person, I haven't even seen where they're trying to go yet. It's trying to go Gramercy Park to Chinatown and Empire State Building to Greenwich Village, which is a nice combination. So, they're going to spend their 1 blue and build this one, Empire State Building to Gramercy Park. They're going to link those two together. I could do that, but in fact, as you can see, I need to build these two oranges. So I'm going to take these two as my turn, and I draw 1, 2. This person is going to draw a blind, and then I'm going to pay my 2 orange and build here. Now, play just progresses like this until somebody has 2 or fewer of their cars left, because the rest have been built on the board. And then there's one final turn for both players, and then we count up points. The other thing you could do on your turn is to take 2 new destination cards, and again, look at them both and choose to keep one. You have to keep one of them. This would have been a bad draw, because they're both very difficult, and at that late stage in the game, probably wouldn't have done so well. The game comes with this score pad and a pencil, but you can always use other pencils, with a good amount on there so you can play many, many times, and because it's only 2 of us, I use the same one twice. Things you count up is you get points depending on how long each route is. If it's made up of 1 car, it's worth 1 point, 2 cars, 2 points, 3 cars, 4 points, and then 4 cars is 7 points. You count up how much that would be worth. Then if you completed your routes, you get points for those. If you don't complete one, that goes minus against you. And then the new thing for this game is here you can see on some of the spots there's a 1. So these would be tourist attractions in New York, really. And so for everyone you're touching, currently for this route here, I get a bonus of 2 points because I'm touching those 2. So that's how it works. You draw cards when you have the sets you need to lay on the board. You pay it, you place your card down. You keep going, you try and complete your routes. When you've run out of cards, the game ends, you toss up scoring. Whoever has the most points wins. So why do I like Ticket to Ride New York? Well, it has the gameplay of normal Ticket to Ride. That I really enjoy. Just that set collection, building things, it's timed against the pieces that you have. It's just simple, fun mechanics. But why I like this one and why I'm really pleased to have it is it's great at 2. It is really fun at 2. Having that small, really condensed board, there's only a couple of routes that you can really go on, makes it a much quicker challenge. You've got that tension all the way through that 10-15 minutes to the point where you come to the end of that 10-15 minutes, and because that tension has been there the whole time, we immediately want to play it again. We're like, oh cool, that engaged us really well for that whole game's time, let's do it again. And that's just really nice, the fact that they've been able to take the mechanics that work in the big format, and if you're playing with 3-4 people, the big one is really good, because you've got that little more cat and mouse of seeing where people are placing. In this one, you just have to be placing as quick as possible, because if you don't take that route, they will. And so it's a different type of tension, but it works really well, makes us want to play it again almost immediately. Also, I like how they've replaced longest route. In the larger board, whoever had the longest connection of trains would get bonus points at the end of the game. Obviously that doesn't really work in a smaller setting, and the points that you'd get wouldn't be worth much anyway, so they've included now these sightseeing places, which just works really well. It just adds the extra thing of, I've got these 2 different routes that I'm trying to complete. How do I link them? Firstly, is how I work. Some people just do them separately. I tend to link them into one big one, partly because I'm used to the bigger one, where longest road matters. But also then the new consideration of how do I do that whilst visiting as many of these places as possible. And so again, just adds that extra dynamic to it. I've yet to play this with more players. My brother has, and he says it works absolutely fine in 4. When we were at UK Games Expo, when we first saw this, people were playing in 4 and seemed to be having as good a time as we did at 2, so I'd be very happy to try that and let you know what I think. But that's about it. It's just very simple, very fun, relatively inexpensive. Something I will show you, give me just a second. The game comes with spare pieces. Now that, I think, is very clever. Because they're just little plastic taxis, they're just the shell of it, it's not a solid piece. I was worried when I played with it originally at the UK Games Expo that they might get broken because they're thin-ish, and then when the pieces came, to suddenly find that they've given you replacement pieces already, I think it's just a really nice touch. It's something Days of Wonder do well, is these nice touches. It has just a nice insert where everything fits. I do like a nice insert, and Days of Wonder generally provide nice inserts. And it's just got everything you need. To come now with the extra bits means if I break one, I'm not annoyed and having to try and find a replacement piece, or going online and either paying postage myself or forcing the company to pay postage to send me one little plastic thing. They've thought of that and provided that. So that's just a nice touch. That's not anything to do with the game or the gameplay. That's just the company, I think, have made a sensible move there. The fact that the rulebook looks like a little tourist guide that you pick up at an info place. Oh, I'm visiting New York, what should I see? You pick up a little pamphlet like this, and that's how the rulebook's laid out. It's just a nice graphical design choice. So it plays well at 2, it's quick and compulsive, so you want to play it immediately again. Scoring is super simple, it looks nice on the table, the colours are nice, there's just kind of nothing wrong with this game. I really like it. I would highly recommend it to anybody, even if you already have the big one. Yes, there's all the maps and expansions and things that you can get for the original, and that might be the way you want to go. But if you want one that you can just introduce people to, that's going to take 10-15 minutes, this is great. You want that experience of Ticket to Ride, but in a much smaller setting or a much smaller time frame. This does the job really well, and that is why I like Ticket to Ride New York. Thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe to this channel if you don't already to stay updated when we put out new videos. You can follow us on social media. We're on Twitter at WSomeElmore, or on Instagram or Facebook. We have a page as well, so you can see what we are getting up to. I look forward to seeing you again. I've been Dieter for Win Some, Lose More. Goodbye.